Hi, and welcome to Thursday morning's trending. Today's show is brought to you in association with Iconic Coffee. Head over to shop.iconic.com, use the code trending for 10% off. Let's dive into this morning's trending news. Rotherham police sexually abuse us too, says 5 grooming gang victims. Imagine the police actually doing it as well. This is a story, if you lived in the UK, that's been going on for almost, it seems like a decade now. I myself work with a lady called Maggie Oliver, and we were filming some stuff way back 6 or 7 years ago now, when this thing was initially at the front of the headlines. And she was exposing how this has been done in Rotherham and other places as well in England and covered up. But to hear that the actual police officers may be involved in it is absolutely horrific. In horrifying new developments, 5 victims of the Rotherham grooming gang say they were also abused by police officers. The Mail has the grim details. One says she was raped from the age of 12 by a serving South Yorkshire police officer in a marked car. He would threaten to hand her back to the gang if she did not comply. I mean, imagine turning to the authorities and then finding out the authorities are far worse than the actual, or just as bad as the actual grooming gangs themselves. One would come to some sort of conclusion or hypothesis that maybe they're all involved with it together. That's why it was covered up so long, if this indeed is true. The woman is one of 5 who alleged that as children they were exploited by corrupt police officers as well as grooming gangs. Among officers alleged to have preyed on girls is PC Hassan Ali. 3 former South Yorkshire officers have been arrested on suspicion of historic sexual offences, including attempted rape, indecent assault, and misconduct in a public office while they were on duty. But no one has been charged. So, how much evidence they've got of this, who knows? It does feel, as long as this has gone on, there's much more to this than meets the eye, even in terms of the Pakistani grooming gangs, and how this was leveraged as well by the likes of Tommy Robinson to bring in the Islamic faith and basically cause a lot of issues there between two different sects of our society now, as we are. It's horrific to see that the police there were possibly involved with it as well. Written accounts by grooming gang survivors, collected by special child abuse lawyers, allege years of abuse by serving police officers in Rotherham from the mid 1990s to the early 2000s. So that's actually the mid 1990s to the early 2000s, which would have been before these specific um, incidences, which is interesting and something that you would easily look over if you were just browsing this article. Most were girls in their teens at the time, but some were as young as 11, according to the shocking report, regardless of age. It's all horrific, isn't it? One report, one that reports hearing a police officer having sex with girls in exchange for drugs and money. So the whole thing, if this is true, seems quite corrupt. The Rotherham grooming gangs, and this goes into the political sphere as well, as we know with things like Dolphin Square and all these political indecencies being done there. 3 described being beaten up by officers as children, including in a police cell. Why was the child in a police cell when they were the victim? One victim, given the pseudonym Willow, told the broadcaster that she was sexually abused by hundreds of men over 5 years after first being targeted age 11, 2 of them police officers. He knew where we used to hang out. He would request either oral sex or rape us in the back of the police car, she said. In a world where you're being abused so much, being raped once each time was a lot easier than multiple rapes. Jesus. And I think he knew that. So these police officers allegedly were involved with this, and this just keeps getting worse and worse and more deep and deep. And I still think there's something far beyond this that we're not seeing. As someone who was reporting and filming on these things at the time when they were initially big news, we went to places like the BBC and Sky, and Maggie was doing interviews there as well. It always felt like there was something far more than that. Now, Maggie Oliver, go and look to her. She's got a fantastic book out. I think it's called Survivor. Um, She was a former police officer herself as well. So, well, she is a former police officer herself. So at the time she left there, her husband passed away, and a lot happened in the drama of it all as well. She was trying to call these things out. So please do look further into this. But that's a an breaking news in terms of that horrific story. Again, I think there's far more to that. So heading over to, well, here in the UK, connected to the Middle East, judge allows Palestine Action to challenge Home Office over terrorism ban. Pro-Palestinian group was prescribed under terror laws after activists broke into an RAF base and spray painted planes with paint. Now that's terrorism, is it? It's certainly a crime, but terrorism is a bit much. And the reason why they attached it to terrorism because those planes could never fly again or not fly for a while. Well, they've got spray paint on them, and that affects Israel bombing the shit out of Gaza. So you can see where the allegiance is, especially back then as well. And Palestine Action was able to challenge the Home Office in court over its prescription as a terrorist organization and everything that comes with that, like wearing a T-shirt promoting um, Palestine Action would be considered promoting terrorists now. It has a knock-on effect, which is absurd, quite frankly. They've spray painted planes in protest to an actual terrorist group like the IDF going into Gaza and killing thousands, tens of thousands of people. And Hamas is also a terrorist group when you look into the funding and initially prop them up, as we've been saying here for a while. That was Netanyahu to take over the PLO. So there is another side to it. We get accused for not putting the Israeli side. The Israeli people are mostly or largely out there protesting against this. So we're actually standing up for the population of Israel. It's the government, the IDF, and the ideology behind all of this nonsense. So that one is good to hear that they're no longer prescribed as a terrorist organization, but they should never have been prescribed as a terrorist organization in the first place. It's absolute lunacy. And I think it's done to gaslight people on purpose to annoy them that these guys in the IDF are getting away with shooting kids as they are actually trying to find food to stop them starving from death or to death. And then these groups just spray paint a plane. Now, how do they get in there in the first place? It's the same question that we could ask of October the 7th. And there's news coming out today that some of the officers that were overseeing that are kind of confirming that, from what I've seen, October the 7th was allowed to happen as the problem reaction solution to go in. Remember who initially propped them up, the same with Al Qaeda and ISIS or ICE or IS, whatever you want to call them now. Initially, they are propped up by the West and then left there for a time when they are needed or required to perform certain action, overseeing the area in which they are now taken over as terrorists, when really in the background, they were initially funded by the West. So are they a proxy army of the West? I would suggest that that's exactly what they are. And now they go on to cause October the 7th, which appears to be allowed to happen, considering all the technology was behind it, the Iron Dome, and they went in with hang gliders and tractors and wire cutters. Absolutely absurd to think that that is actually not an orchestrated event to produce the reaction or the population's support of an action that's now gone way beyond just trying to find Hamas. This is how it works. And we've been repeating this for a very long time. Most people in the alternative media do know how this works. But now they are allowed to challenge that ban or that label they've been given as a terrorist organization, which is absolutely absurd. But everything is coming together, as we always talk about on the show. This is about, and everything we do here on iconic.com, it's about showing you how it all connects together. That's the whole point of everything we do. Yes, these are trending news stories, but really they're just a piece of the puzzle, an element of how it all comes together. And it's all often done in separate situations and brought together like a big old transformer. Zuckerberg shares AI personal superintelligence vision after spending billions on talent. So this is hotting up now, but this is quite clearly, and I'll read you some of it, make of it what you will, but it seems to be obvious that you're having the people's AI built up here against this corporate AI. Same old. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg published a letter outlining his vision for personal super intelligence. Now, personal super intelligence is the key. Personal, not government super intelligence. It's your super intelligence. You're not good enough to have super intelligence on your own. No, but with the help of technology as your best friend, you can become super intelligent personally too, or connected to the smart grid. So, for Personal Superintelligence Wednesday, giving investors a glimpse into his artificial intelligence strategy ahead of Meta's second quarter earnings report. It doesn't really do that. What it actually just does is tell you that they're trying to give you your best friend internet, your best friend artificial intelligence. The company shelled out billions of dollars, the intelligence agencies have, and DARPA and military intelligence, hiring top AI researchers and engineers in recent weeks. And Wall Street will be listening for what Zuckerberg has to say about the spending spree. Zuckerberg did not outline specifics because he doesn't know. He's waiting to be told. Specific products or applications that Meta plans to build in this letter, but he said he views superintelligence as a tool for personal empowerment over automation and efficiency. So here's a little bit of this letter now is the important bit. So as profound as the abundance produced by AI may one day be, an even more meaningful impact of on our lives will likely come from everyone having personal super intelligence that helps us achieve your goals, helps you achieve your goals. Create what you want to see in the world. Experience any adventure. Be a better friend to those you care about and grow to become the person you aspire to be. Again, this is transhumanism. You can't do it without technology, although you're inventing the technology. It's absurd. Again, putting the cart before the horse. But it's your best friend now, and it's going to help you be a better friend as well. Absurd. You can see how they're reselling this. You've got your government AI. You don't want it to be a corporate AI. Look at what they're doing. We want this version. And it just gives you the soft sell, as David says. Meta's version is to bring personal superintelligence to everyone. We believe in putting this power in the hands, people's hands, to direct it what they would value in their own lives. Butchered that, didn't I? Would believe in putting this power in people's hands to direct it towards what they value in their own lives, or tell them what they value in their own lives. This is distinct from others in the industry who believe superintelligence should be directed centrally towards automating all valuable work, and then humanity will live on a dole of its output. So you would have them doing all the work, and we would basically just a dole of the output. You would be on your universal basic income, given your compliance tokens each month. But this is the same thing. They're just giving you the soft sell of it as well. So it's quite clear what Zuckerberg's doing. Remember, they're all connected, and the stories coming up later will show you how it's all connected, and it literally is being built by different companies that are really just the one company, the Silicon Valley X corporation of the world, that will bring it all together eventually. It's forming elsewhere like a virus, and it's going to all come together as the Internet of All Things, or Grok, which means Binah and understanding from the Kabbalah tree of life. These are all going to come together. These are alchemical principles. They know how it's done. This is all about alchemy. It's about producing something new and how that's done through society, which really is using the elements of nature and nature of reality, which is really co-opting you, the creator. So this is the next one. So this just backs up exactly what I've said about how they're bringing it all together. So White House and CMS to launch health tech ecosystem initiative to expand use of digital health with a focus on consumers. You can see it again. You're the consumer. You're in charge. No, you're not. This stuff is going to be used to entrap you. We know all of this data is going to be put on a universal basic income, which is really compliance tokens, as we head to this Olam Haba world to come. these guys are directly influenced by this messianic sect. Donald Trump, RFK Jr. standing at the front. Absolutely. RFK Jr. is often hanging around with the dildo salesman Shmuley, and Trump is going to the grave of Schneerson and having a cry and putting some notes there. It's nonsense. These people are a cult. It's a cult. So President Donald Trump spoke about the new health data sharing initiatives at the White House on Wednesday afternoon. Seated next to Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., CMS Administrator Mahet Oz. Oz is a great name, isn't it? Wizard of Oz, somewhere over the rainbow. CMS Advisor and Doge Administrator Amy Gleason, and AI and crypto czar David Sachs. The key breakthrough we've made is getting many of the biggest names in healthcare, which is one really big corporation anyway, under different labels, and technology to agree that those standards, that's really badly written, that's not just me reading it, that those standards of electronic medical records that we talk about and you've heard about for so many years, and now it's happening. Trump said, this will allow patients to easily transmit information from one doctor to another, even if they're different networks and using different record keeping systems. No matter what system they use, they're all transferable, so they're all connected. So that information could be shared among people. Don't worry though, they wouldn't dare do it without your permission. It's on a system. They've already created the system without your permission. The new standards will also make it simple for patients to access their own personal health records. And of course you need it, your own personal health records, because that will be used as a tally on your smart app, which will eventually just be straight in your head anyway, to show you how compliant you'll be. And then you will be getting compliance tokens for not eating too much, your carbon footprint, not being overweight. They will try and create you as this perfect human vessel. Can you see what's happening here? This is eugenics through technology. So let's have a look at some of these companies that will be involved with this. So healthcare tech companies which form the Health Tech Ecosystem Initiative include Anthropic, Hippocratic AI, Microsoft AI, which is great because they were, set up by a bunch of Nazis for Bill Gates' mum, she was friends with them through IBM. ZocDoc, Aura, Oracle, wonderful, BeWell, Connected Health, and Samsung. In the diabetes and obesity category are Noom, Vira Health, and WellDoc, among others. I mean, you will be seen as a blight on the earth if you don't keep your health up, or you're draining natural resources, and you will be a resource in this system. This is what's coming. And some of the other biggest names are in there. You've got OpenAI and all of these other guys that are connecting this whole system together because they are all in it together. So let's have another look at some of these other companies, if we can find them, that are actually involved with this, because it's quite clear what he's been doing in the background. And you have these fake fallouts between Elon Musk and Donald Trump that are clearly just, I'm going to go over here and do this bit. It's become too blooming obvious what we're doing together. So if I can find some of these corporations on here, the likes of the usual ones are on it. So this was updated just recently. So at 2:45 p.m., which was, I think, today, depending on the time switch over, the White House and the Centers for Medical and Medicaid Services announced they secured voluntary commitments from 60 healthcare technology organizations, including the obvious ones: Amazon, Anthropic, Apple, Google, and OpenAI, to work collaboratively on a new health tech advancement system and initiative. The 60 companies will deliver results in the first quarter of 2026, though what those deliverables will look like remains to be seen. I can tell you what they look like. The actual eventual thing will be part of your everything app, which will control your compliance app. This is all coming together. All of these big tech companies started off as one. They splintered out. They pretended to be enemies, pretended to be in a race, like the US and China pretend to be in an AI race when they share 46,000 AI research papers across the universities with students, and I say students in inverted commas, going back and forth. This isn't a race. This is about pushing that technology in that one direction. And all of these guys are collaborating together to put this beast system in. And this is why we connect all the dots. These guys are putting it together right in front of your face, but you just don't know. Many people, I'm sure the guys watching this who regularly watch the show will know what is happening. It's really important to know why. This is your control system that allows them to make sure that you comply by these 7 Noahide laws. The whole thing comes together when you zoom out and you look in and you look at Olam Habar and this new world order. And none of that can be done without artificial intelligence to make sure that everybody who's left is plugged into the system and complying. And that's what this system is. This is the beast system. But the ideology behind that is this 7 Noahide laws, which will be your rules to be judged by, and all your data will be compared against. And the world to come, where they will be the gods or the demigods, these immortal beings of this new world they believe. As absurd as it sounds, this is exactly what's going on, and it's speeding up really, really fast. They believe that we are all in the year 5,700, and I believe it's 85. So about 200, 215 years to get this job done. They're mental, they're mad, they're all attached to this messianic ideology, and this needs to be stopped. And luckily, the world is waking up rapidly to this stuff, so keep sharing it. Today's show is brought to you in association with Iconic Coffee. Head over to shop.iconic.com. Use the code trending for 10% off, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. Take care. Goodbye.